Welcome back from 5 minutes ago.
I know, it's been it wasn't even 5 minutes, it was like 3.
We're literally jumping from misery to It Ends With Us.
Let's introduce ourselves and then we'll get into it.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Sarah.
And this is Books, Booze.
And Besties.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
We don't really have a drink of the week for this one because we're recording 2 episodes back to back.
A frosted snow cap.
I mean, that works for me. You mix it up the same way you do a drunk ghost.
The same ingredients as a drunk ghost. We're switching gears from Halloween to holiday season.
Lol.
Going into Thanksgiving. It will be November 2nd when this comes out. So we're switching gears quickly.
Very quickly. It is now Co-Ho's month.
Yay. I love Colleen Hoover. I know Colleen Hoover is people love her or they hate her. I'm a Colleen Hoover lover. There's only one book that I've read of hers that I'm not much cared for. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to bias you against it.
What is it?
I don't want to tell you.
Is it November 9?
No. I can't talk about that one. I recommended November 9. I bought it for you. So, I won't recommend it on this podcast. But if you want to read it on your own.
Well, I mean, we have to have one more Coho book for the month. So we got It Ends With Us, November 9, It Starts With Us, and then we need one. But we should do a Coho that you haven't read either.
Okay. I was going to say Reminders of Him. It's so good. Oh my God.
I've read that one. I don't want to...
Oh, okay. Did you love it?
Other than their child being named Carpe Diem.
Oh my gosh.
Which that's one of my big things for this fucking book. Okay, Emerson, great name. Dory, shitty middle name. I don't give a fuck what the backstory is there. Emerson Dory, are you serious?
Oh, just wait till you read It Starts With Us.
And then you have Riley. What the fuck?
The daughter?
Yeah.
The girl. And then you have Ryle. Why? It makes me angry because it sounds like you just didn't finish your thought.
Is her name pronounced Alyssa or Elisa?
Okay. I don't know. Because I called her Alyssa while reading It Ends With Us.
But in the audio, it's pronounced, or she says
Elisa.
Elisa.
So how's it spelled? I can't even remember.
AllYssa.
That's Alyssa to me.
If it was I would think I could go with Elisa.
Yeah. Like Leisa. I could see Elisa. I'm going to call her Alyssa. I've called her Alyssa on my own. So, anyway, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out because I've read a lot of her books. I think I've missed a lot too. She has a ton. She has 1 million books.
Hold on, I'll look it up and tell you.
I really did like Reminders of Him though.
I mean, it was alright. See, this is the thing. You say people either love Coho or they hate her. I'm in the middle. She's alright.
Really?
She's decent. I don't want to overload on her, but it's because I'm not... I like smut and I like romance. But it's not my favorite genre, so...
I like that it doesn't say pussy 1 billion times.
I'll give it that.
I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, Reminders of Him. Anyway, we might read that later, so I don't want to, go into it too much, but I did really like it. I'm not going to lie. I did hate that her freaking daughter's name was Carpe Diem. Or they called her Diem. No, her daughter's name was Diem for Carpe Diem. I don't think her full name was Carpe Diem. But yeah, Diem.
I counted...
Diem, that's a stupid name.
You're such a nerd. I counted at least 30 books.
Holy crap. Go through them. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so we have our big ones. We've got It Ends With Us.
Done.
It Starts With Us.
Okay.
Reminders of Him.
Okay.
November 9.
Okay.
Verity.
I've read Verity. You have 2, though, haven't you? Oh.
I never read Verity.
But there's a new one out, too, that has an extra chapter.
Yeah, I did see that. There's an extra chapter, and I think a lot of people were not very happy with it.
from my understanding, it led in a different direction.
We have Ugly Love, which I think you read. And that's the one you don't like, huh? Ugly Love?
Yeah. I just did not.
We have something
We could read it, though, and I could bash it.
I don't want to read it. I remember you telling me about it.
Oh, okay.
There's one I do want to read. I can't remember which one it is. There's All Your Perfects.
Oh, I read that.
Confess.
Never read that.
Maybe Someday.
Nope. That may have been all I've read.
Layla. Regretting You. Hopeless. Something called Slammed.
Never heard of that one.
This is the book I want to read. Heartbones.
I have heard of that. We can read that one.
I'll give you a quick synopsis. It follows two young adults from completely different backgrounds. Oh my god, it's almost like every other book she's written.
I love them, though.
Embarking on a tentative romance, unaware of what the future holds. Oh my god, is that Ryle and Lily?
What?
It's literally...
What the hell?
She picks some weird-ass names, I will say that.
I think a lot of people have pet peeves with the names she picks.
Okay, so, like, you have Ryle, and It Ends With Us. In this book, the one I'm talking about, Heartbones, the main character is Bea. B-E-Y-A-H. Bea?
B.
Booyah.
B. It's going to be the Bay all over again.
It's Bea and Samson. Why?
I like Samson, but Bea,
too, but
stop.
Well, you got Marshall, Elisa, Alyssa.
Marshall's not bad. Makes me think the dog from Paw Patrol.
It makes me think of Fire Marshal. It's stupid.
We can do that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's our month of November lineup.
We could also do Verity. I don't know. I've never read it. Kind of want to.
Which one? I mean, I'm down with whatever.
We can always go one day or 1 week over into December.
I know we don't have anything planned in December. So that's
okay.
the
I know what
2nd,
we'll
the
do.
9th.
We'll do all romance this month. So we'll do Heartbones because Verity is little.
Sus.
Yeah. So we'll make Verity our first December.
Hold on. So we have the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th, the 23rd. No, we have 5. The 30th. Right?
So we got...
So we could do Verity and Heartbones.
November 9th. It starts with us. Heartbones, and then we'll end the month with Verity.
I like it. It's a lot of coho, but I'm excited.
Well, we're doing a whole month of coho.
When I can go on a coho bender, I will read like 5 books in like a week. When I'm like in the kind of mood, like I really need some romance in my life. No offense, Steven.
Ooh,
you know, unrealistic romance. We'll put it that way.
What's unrealistic about having a homeless boy sleep in your bedroom?
And then bumping into the guy you met on the rooftop and bumping in and becoming best friends with his sister and employing her, even though she's loaded. And then marrying said guy who didn't even want to have a girlfriend.
Yeah, what's unrealistic about a man that specifically says he only does one night stands and then you marry him a year later? And
not even 7 months. It was like 7 months. Anyway, I guess we're jumping in. Let's start at the beginning. So we meet, first things first, we meet Lily on the rooftop. And then she meets Ryle. I hate that name.
Are you so anti-Ryle? I love Ryle.
I hate the name. I hate it.
I mean the person. I love Ryle, the character.
Oh, yeah, I hate him. Well, obviously, he's a narcissistic abuser.
I love Ryle. He's a good boy.
Of course you do.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, so they meet on the rooftop.
And obviously, red flag number 1, he's like throwing shit all over the place.
Yeah, Lily is kind of dense. She has to be like, your first memory of him is trying to beat the shit out of a chair and smoking a blunt.
Yeah, and he's a neurosurgeon.
And you're like, I've got sex eyes.
I know. I've got lust on my mind.
Oh my god, is that my dad?
Oh my god. Trigger warning. So many trigger warnings. Domestic violence. Almost rape.
Yes.
Maybe that was it.
That's really it, but they're big ones.
Yeah, well, obviously this book is themed through domestic violence. I did not know. The first time I read it, I did not know that was what was going to happen. Like, I went in blind completely. And then I saw people like, oh my gosh, This book is intense. And then I was like, okay, what is like going on? What is the big deal about this book? And then it starts talking about he ends up being an abuser.
Can you turn that off? I'm freezing. Yeah. Okay, yeah, but I don't see... Lily has to be dense. That's your first meeting of him. And
he's like, I don't date anybody.
Your naked truths are a lot deeper than his naked truths. He just wanted to not feel bad about himself, so he wanted you to say crappy shit about yourself to boost his mood.
He's a narcissist.
You did not pick up on, which is so stupid.
Yeah.
And then you guys don't see each other for 6 months until you nearly break your foot. The same day, you meet his sister and she wants to be your employee.
Yeah. And she's a millionaire, basically, I guess.
A multi-millionaire.
Yeah. And she's like, I just need to work to get out of the house. I'm like, lucky bitch. But the time, like, lapse between them meeting for the first time and the second time was crazy.
Yeah, because it's like they meet and then it jumps 6 months to her buying the flower shop.
Yeah. Well, I guess they wanted to have that established for her. And then obviously we get introduced to Atlas. But she even mentions him on the rooftop. Mm-hmm. So I lost my virginity to a homeless boy. I can't remember exactly what she said. Like, did she say, like, my dad beat him up, though?
When he asks her to elaborate, she goes into detail. But when she just says her naked truth, it's literally, I lost my virginity to a homeless boy.
Yeah.
So that's, Ryle's first impression of you. And then later on, when he uses that to hurt you and Atlas, you are like, I never said that. Well, no, but you did kind of play it off when you were on the rooftop with Raul because you had sex eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he's a neurosurgeon that magically knows how, if your ankle's broken or not. How? Like, not all doctors know every part of your body. If he's focused on being a neurosurgeon for 8 years, he's not going to be able to look at your ankle and tell you if it's broken or not.
You may need an x-ray.
Like, that's not his job. He doesn't know how to do that.
Being a neurosurgeon does not give you x-ray vision. Just so you know, in case you were wondering. So, yeah, we kind of get introduced to Atlas through her letters to Ellen.
Which I thought that was so weird. Of all the things she could be writing to, why did it have to be Ellen DeGeneres? And why did the inspirational thing you and Atlas had for each other have to be just keep swimming? That's so gross. It's grossy.
Cliche.
Well, I mean, like, I get it. She's 15, 16. He's 18.
True.
But, like, you're also at those ages where finding Nemo and finding Dory shouldn't be what your inspiration to survive comes off of. That's just so weird.
Yeah.
Like, if you were watching, like, I don't know, True Blood or something. Just kidding. I don't know. It just felt like it was super childish. And, like, they wanted to paint Atlas as this, like, young kiddo, even though he was 18, about to go to the Marines. Oh. Like, they displayed him and Lily as so immature, and I think that's because Coho wanted it to be okay for them to have sex when he was 18 and she was
16.
Yeah. So
they did just bang once, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about that because
she just turned 16. It was like her birthday, right?
Yeah, like, it wasn't coercion or anything. I'm not going to say anything about that, but I think Colleen Hoover tried to paint them as
star-crossed lovers,
immature and childish, so that when they did have sex, even though he was an adult, it didn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he literally asked her when her birthday was, showed up on her birthday to specifically have sex with her. Like, Atlas specifically wanted to have sex with her and waited till her 16th birthday. That's
Age of consent.
Literally what that whole thing was. So I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into detail about it. A little grossy.
Yeah. Anyway, so then her and Ryle meet back up. Coincidental. Not.
And then he repeatedly says, I only want a one-night stand for, like, the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't give it to him, and suddenly they're in love. I
know. Which he love bombs her. That's a red flag.
Well, I just don't see how you guys are going to fall in love if you spend, like, 2-3 months pushing off a one-night stand. He sends you flowers. He keeps saying, like, stop holding out, basically. I want to have sex with you. And she keeps repeating to herself, he only wants a one-night stand, no family, no nothing. And then at a party, he gets jealous of her, she gets jealous of him, and suddenly they're in love.
Yeah.
And then they get married like 2 months later.
After he had already hit her the first time.
And she literally said, if he does it again, I will leave him.
Yeah.
Also, I hate how downplayed the DV was in this book. Like, instead of using words like, he pushed me. No, he fucking shoved you off that counter into the cabinet.
Yeah.
Say it the way it was, because that makes it sound a lot less violent.
Yeah. Like, oh, he kind of gave me a little shove.
I mean, she literally said, he pushed me. Well, that doesn't sound as bad as it was.
Yeah. Like, it was enough to bang your head off the floor. Or the cabinet.
Yeah, like, you kept saying, he pushed me. No, he did not. He shoved you down the stairs.
Yeah.
He wanted you to hurt because he was hurting. Both of those times.
Yeah.
Also, this made me very annoyed with Alyssa and Ryle. They waited until after he had hurt her 2 fucking times, pretty badly, to say, oh, I have anger issues and I black out when I'm angry and I hurt others, so don't leave me.
Yeah. And Alyssa was an enabler.
She literally was like, hear him out. Don't leave him. He loves you. You've changed his life for the better.
I love being your sister. But, you know.
I mean, even the 3rd time when she hasn't told anybody what's going on or that she's pregnant, she's literally like, as his sister, I want you to take him back because he's a good person and you've changed him. As your friend, I know that I shouldn't do that.
Yeah. And it's like, well, actually, you haven't changed him at all because he still beat the shit out of you one night.
Okay. Also, that means that Ryle's been enabled by his entire family the whole time. Also, How the fuck do you have a well-balanced family if your oldest child was shot in the head by your middle child?
Yeah.
Like Lily's talking about how well-balanced and friendly and how good going they are. How? Ryle is a fucking narcissist with abusive tendencies who shot his older brother.
Yeah.
Like, they're not well stable, honey. They're faking it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why mom and dad moved.
Yeah. He has a lot of trauma.
There's a reason why mom asks him every day after you all started dating if you're still dating.
Yeah. Red flags. Red flags all over the place. And she's just like, I'm so in love. You know, it was a one-time thing. It's not going to happen again.
No, but the one-time thing the first time fucking knocked you out.
Yeah. Right?
And the fact that they had sex after that and he got his fucking blood all over her grossed me the fuck out. Also, that was pretty rapey to me. You literally don't want to be around him. You don't like him. And then you let him, well, I don't even know. I don't want to say you let him because you were kind of iffy about it.
Yeah.
You guys have sex and then you have to get in the shower and wash his fucking blood off of you.
Yeah. Gross. I didn't like it either. I was like, ooh, tell him to fucking leave. And I don't know.
And then
I did not see it coming though. Like I said, I went in blind. So when he hit her, I was like, this just took a sharp left turn.
I didn't know anything about it either. And the first time I read it. But the thing that bugged me the most is like you're trying to portray Ryle as this big DV perp and how bad it is. And you're using words like, he pushed me. I fell off the counter.
Yeah.
No, honey. He shoved you off the counter and you got fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Say it right, Coho. Jesus Christ. You can't write about a serious topic like this and not portray it the right way.
Yeah.
It's like making light of a terrible situation.
Yeah. But you know this was like based off of her real life shit.
Yeah, I know. And that's
like her
why
dad and mom.
Like, fucking be truthful about it. Don't downplay it.
I'm like, you fucking shoved me, man, for laughing. And I'm drunk.
You got me drunk. I'm giggling because I'm pretty much naked and you did something stupid and then you shoved me because you're mad.
Yeah.
And I fucking hit my head and then you wanted to have sex with me because you thought that was going to make everything better.
Yeah. It was intense. Like that first one, I just didn't see it coming. And I was like, okay, I see where this is going now. Because I was kind of like, how's this dynamic going to play out with the two guys? Because she hadn't yet run into Atlas, had she? Yes, she did. Right? Yes, she bumps into him, and then they go back after she gets hit.
Yes.
And he sees her.
Because the first time was when Ryle was meeting mom.
Yes. And nothing's bad. But I was so mad when I was heartbroken when Atlas was like, yeah, I've got a girlfriend and we've been dating for a year. I was like.
He just did it because he was trying
I know. But still, I was like, oh, that sucks. Why don't you come back for her, Atlas?
And I hate, and I get it. Like, I know why Coho wrote it that way, but she wrote it where, Lily literally downplayed Ryle's stuff and victim blamed herself by saying, well, I should have told him about this. No, it doesn't matter if you told him or not. It doesn't matter if you and Atlas had a strong relationship. It doesn't matter that you have a tattoo because of him.
Yeah.
He did not have the right to ever fucking shove you anywhere, hurt you, and then try to make it your fault.
Right.
I mean,
But I see where she was trying to come at it like a victim. Because that's the point, is they make you feel like it's your fault.
Well, and that's why I said I get why it was written that way. Because even Lily herself had to be like, no, it's not my fault.
Yeah, and that comes, you'll see more of that in, not that, but you'll see something that I thought was awesome in the next book. I'm not going to say it right now.
And then the second time he shoves her down the stairs, he literally tries to gaslight her and say, no, you fell.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I was so lit up when he did that.
Like she's not, like she's gonna hit her head so hard she doesn't fucking remember you shoved her down the stairs.
Right.
And it's not until then that you fucking tell her, hey, when I'm angry, I black out, so it's not really my fault, but I do have anger issues.
Yeah. What was the second time for? It was Atlas. Something with Atlas.
He found his number in the back of...
That's right.
Her phone case.
Yeah. Turns out she needed it.
I mean...
Ugh.
And then everything's good. I didn't see the final situation coming the way it did.
No. Oh, man. But it immediately, your stomach starts to turn when you go in there and she's like, I yelled for him. And then she realizes he's like drunk. And you know something's wrong.
Like waiting for her.
Yeah, you know something's wrong. And it's almost like you feel like the victim. Like she did a really good job at making you feel that way. And it was like, ooh, my stomach's in knots because I know something bad's getting ready to happen.
I mean, he's drunk. He's literally staring at her with the eyes that you're in trouble.
Yeah, you done fucked
And then he
up.
tries to sexually humiliate her.
Yeah.
In the kitchen before he ever tries to rape her.
Yeah. And headbutts her, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, that turned me.
That's the biggest one. That's the biggest one that gets me about the way Coho wrote it. She wrote it in a way where like it was push instead of shove. And this one, she wrote it where you could either infer she bit Ryle and then he headbutted her in retaliation, or he headbutted her because she bit his tongue and he was trying to get away.
Yeah.
Clearly he headbutted her in retaliation.
That's what I took it as.
But it was downplayed once again and written in a way where people can go either way with it.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. But when she was like, I saw stars or whatever, like I blacked out basically. And she's lucky he passed out when he did.
I mean, he was going to rape her.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, he kind of already did with his fingers in the kitchen because she had no idea what he was doing at the time. And then she asked him to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And then turns out he had found all that Atlas shit. And Atlas is just perfect throughout the whole thing.
I mean, he had to have his suspicions before then. Like, I feel like maybe when Ryle asked her if she knew Atlas was working there, that's probably when she should have said, like, Atlas and I have had a good
history.
We have had a good relationship. He's always going to be an important part of my life, but we don't have to talk about it anymore. Let's just move forward.
Right.
And then that's about the only time I could see her having to discuss Atlas, but regardless, but
she was never doubtful when it came to Ryle, as far as should I, I miss Atlas. I'd like to be with him.
No, but for him to be the kind of person he is, that's about the only time I could have seen her put it in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The intense parts were intense.
I mean, she was literally 3 months pregnant when they went to the hospital that night. How was she not already starting to show a little bit? Or no morning sickness, nothing? She just had a perfect 3 months.
Yeah, no joke.
Her first trimester literally was easy peasy if she was 3 months pregnant. Didn't even know it. Wasn't starting to show. Didn't have morning sickness.
Yeah, I did love that she called Atlas.
I mean, who else was she going to call? Her mom. Which I was very proud of her mom when she finally told her what the fuck was up with Ryle and the baby.
The thing about pushing past your limits, I've used that in session.
Well, I mean,
what are your limits always change based on what he does to you. Mm-hmm. I've used that in therapy because I thought it was awesome.
Well, I was really proud of mom for being like that. For mom being like...
she really liked Ryle.
Well, she's like, and I've done it. I went through it, and I survived it. But I don't want you to have to survive a relationship. She's like... And her mom was the only reason why she didn't take Ryle back until Emerson was born.
Yeah.
God, Alyssa and Marshall kind of pissed me off.
They were enabling. They were not taking any of this seriously. Like, I don't care who it was, but if you come to me and they're like, well, he beat the shit out of me and attempted to rape me, I'm like, you need to get the fuck out now.
I mean, when she finally did tell Alyssa that, Alyssa was like, I'm 50-50. And then she found out that Lily was pregnant, and then it was like, okay, it's cool that you were abused, but let's focus on a baby.
Yeah. Like, and she trapped Lily into being like, did he talk to you about the train situation or the whatever?
That, like, no wonder Ryle is the way he is. Fucking Alyssa's just as manipulative.
Yeah. And it was like, I don't want to talk to him. Like, he did something awful.
And, like, it just kills me how they did not fucking tell Lily any of this. Like, even when Atlas comes to the flower shop after all that shit in the restaurant, Alyssa is still like, oh, he's so great, you know, trying to cause problems, basically.
Yeah.
Even though she knows Ryle is actually a giant piece of shit that will hurt Lily over something like this. And Lily literally has to have Alyssa hide it from Ryle herself.
Yeah.
Red flags all over this fucking book.
Yes. Yes. I just felt like Alyssa never took any of it seriously. She was like, oh, he hit you? That stinks.
Oh, but...
Just love him.
I mean, that's just...
Love him through it.
That's just Ryle.
Yeah, that's just who he is. He's just a toxic, narcissistic abuser. Don't worry about it. You'll change him at some point. You may be dead, but you'll change him.
I mean, clearly she won't change him because she said if he ever did it again, she was leaving.
Yeah. And
then he did it again. And
two
again.
More times.
Which the second time was kind of like spur of the moment. It happened because he was pissed off. The third time, he literally planned out.
Oh, yeah.
Hurting her.
Yeah.
Because at that point, he's like, well, she stuck around the first 2 times.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Man, it was intense.
Also... The way Lily finally told Ryle, like, I'm divorcing you, and was like, what if it was Emerson coming to you and saying all the things that you did to me? I was like, Jesus Christ, that's fucking intense. It's about time you stood up for yourself.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying she was well aware way before then that...
Before she married him.
I mean, she watched her mom go through it. She knew she was being abused. Like, she knew it was up. So it was about time that she spoke her piece.
That scene... where she watches her mom get raped was intense.
The fact that Atlas... I mean, she literally would have killed her dad.
Yeah.
She was going to kill her dad.
Yeah. Yeah, Atlas stopped her. And her mom was like, don't even worry about it.
I don't know what's going to happen in this next book, but the only quote I've seen so far is the one about Ryle telling Lily it's great fucking parenting, so I can only imagine what kind of person Ryle is in this next book.
I'm not saying a word. I'm going to read it again, though, because I bought it on Audible and a Kindle. Because it didn't hit the same on Audible. So I need to make sure I'm reading it to see if I feel it's the same. That's all I'm saying. I need to stop because you're not even saying anything and I'm just spilling my guts.
You didn't even say anything.
I know. We need to talk about it on here. But even the whole time, like during her pregnancy, when she's like, they didn't see each other, but they lived in like the same building. And I was like, I would not be alone with him.
I wouldn't stay there. I would live with my mom. I would do something else because sure, he's like trying to woo you over or whatever, but you can't even look at him without having those thoughts.
PTSD.
And he has a key to the fucking apartment you're living in. Why would you stay there? Like, you don't have to stay with Atlas. Stay with your mom. Yeah.
I did like the scene with her and Atlas and his friends playing poker. Mm-hmm. I liked that scene. It was just kind of like, it brought you down from all like the intensity from like the things going on. It was a nice little relief in the book.
I could not imagine literally getting to the point where you're gonna leave him because he fucking tried to rape you, and then they're like, oh, but you're not done with him.
Ugh.
Because now you're carrying his child and you're already 3 months along.
Yeah.
Also, he was supposed to go to Cambridge for 3 months and he came back after 2, and they don't even discuss anything about that.
I know. He came back. Didn't Marshall tell him he needed to come back?
No, Marshall was there because... So Ryle showed up, said he needed to talk to Lily about things, and had Marshall come down with him because he didn't want Lily to feel...
unsafe.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Marshall told him he needed to come home.
Well, when I was reading it today, Marshall said, I didn't say anything. He just made me come down here.
But I think Marshall just told him he needed to come home. Because he saw Lily was pregnant. Because she was showing.
Yeah, and Alyssa told him not to say anything about it, to keep it to himself.
But I'm pretty sure he didn't tell him. He just said, you need to come home. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to go back and look. I don't know. My head's hurting. But I'm pretty sure he came home because Marshall was like, hey, you need to come home. And then that was it. Like, she just is like, I'm pregnant. I still don't want you living with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it, like, they go, like, don't see each other much. Unless he's trying to help her. But even then, I'm like, I wouldn't want you in my space. I don't know what's going to trigger you.
I mean, like, even in that moment when they're, like, finally clearing the air and he finds out she's pregnant, she, like, gets repulsed by him. Like, she's repulsed and pushes him away. But then, like, he comes and puts the crib together for her and she lets him hold her. And he's, like, sleeping on the couch. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. That would scare me, though, because I'd be like, I don't know what's going to trigger you. And
well, it almost made it sound like Koho was trying to write it where she was going to take him back.
And then makes you kind of surprised when...
Because you were repulsed when you guys were kissing in the bedroom, but then you let him hold you when you're putting the crib together. And you let him sleep on the couch for, like, 3 weeks before the baby is born.
Yeah.
And then you stayed in that apartment for 3 months after Emerson was born and didn't move out until then.
Emerson Dory.
I would have literally moved out while I was still pregnant. I would not have stayed there.
No, because that's scary. Him having unfettered access and, you know, not knowing if Atlas is a part of your life or what.
Also, the coincidences in this, right? You coincidentally meet Ryle on the rooftop, and then he's coincidentally the brother to Alyssa, who coincidentally wants a job, even though she's super rich, and then is coincidentally there when you hurt your foot, and it's her brother who helps you. And then at the very end, it's coincidentally Atlas that has to move out of the way for you and Emerson as you're going to meet Ryle.
Yeah. And you coincidentally run into Atlas, and he coincidentally owns the restaurant that you're eating at.
Mm-hmm.
And then you coincidentally go there right after you got knocked out. And he notices.
Mm-hmm.
I love that part, though.
And coincidentally, Lucy's getting married and moving out right when you and Ryle start to go strong, so he can move in with you. And coincidentally this and coincidentally that.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, a big-ass apartment is available to buy at the same place that Alyssa and Marshall live. And it's...
Yeah. A lot of coincidences. But it was so good. I mean... I know we've kind of smack talked a little bit, but
that's what I do for every book. I mean, it doesn't mean I don't like it. I like it. I just like to point out the contradictions I have because that's what I want to talk about the most.
True.
It's a good book.
I did love the book. It Ends With Us is probably my favorite Coho book.
I also love that Lily's mom knew about the eulogy. When she's like, I know you didn't go up there and freeze. I know you didn't have anything good to say about him, and I'm proud of you because you're the only person that ever stood up for me.
Yeah. It was really sweet. Her and her mom have a good relationship.
It sounds like there was no one else in their lives back then. And then when you find out Lily's dad was literally the fucking mayor.
Yeah. Nobody would do anything against him.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of things they could have told us about Lily's past that didn't just involve Atlas. Like, your dad was the fucking mayor.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot more to your life than that.
Right.
And it's like she didn't have any friends when she was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't have any friends when she's an adult. The only time it ever mentions friends is when Atlas says he came to find her at college and she was with some friends. Like, I don't think Lily has any friends.
Poor Lily. I don't know. I guess the trauma of growing up in that kind of household. You're scared to do anything. I don't know.
I grew up in that household. I had friends. I stayed away as much as possible.
I don't know.
I don't know. Everybody's different. I'm not trying to say that, but
I did enjoy reading about her and Atlas back in the day, but
I did too. I liked getting Atlas's backstory there, and I like that it told us that Atlas, basically Lily saved Atlas's life because he didn't intend to actually live in that house. He just needed a place to
squat.
End it all.
Yeah.
Please don't name your child Dory. It's so stupid.
I do like the name Atlas.
I like Atlas. I like Lily. I like Emerson.
Mm-hmm. Emmy.
I hate
Ryle.
Fucking Dory and Ryle. Yeah. And Riley is meh.
I actually was like not convinced that his name was actually Ryle because I think that was one of my first Coho books, and I didn't know she picked stupid names. And I was like, I guess maybe it's a different way to spell Riley. But then the girl was born, Alyssa and Marshall's daughter, and they named her Riley. So I was like, oh, God, his name is Ryle. That's so stupid.
And that's another thing that bugs me about that fucking dynamic. Alyssa knows he's a fucking toxic person.
Yeah.
But then it's like still, dead set on having such a good relationship with him that she literally names her daughter after her brother.
Right. Like, I get it. He's your brother and you grew up together, but he's still an abuser.
Like, things have had to happen around them, around their family, for them to know that. For Alyssa to be the one that says, you need to tell Lily after you've beat her up twice.
Yeah.
Like, things have already happened.
And I'm like, so was there signs? I know he was, in the beginning, he's throwing this stuff on the porch or the rooftop. But, like, Alyssa has to know that he's violent.
But she wouldn't have brought it up and had Ryle tell her otherwise.
Right.
There's a reason why his mom asks him all the time if he and Lily are still together. Everybody fucking knows there are things going on with him.
Right.
I mean, Marshall was his best friend growing up. Even Marshall's gonna know. Everybody around her knows how Ryle actually is.
Yeah.
And they waited till he'd already beat the shit out of her twice.
Mm-hmm.
For him, they advised Ryle to tell her what was happening.
Yeah.
And that was the excuse. That was excusable because poor Ryle killed his brother, which that's obviously really bad.
Yeah.
But that doesn't let you be a fucking abuser.
Right. Like, A and B doesn't equal C here.
No.
A and B equals, like, Z. Like, Z is being a domestic violence person. And, I get, he's probably got a lot of trauma and anger and stuff built up. But I'm going to say he was already violent before he killed his brother.
I'm also going to say, I think it's shit on therapy a little bit, too, because he's like, I've been in therapy since I was 6 years old, and yet you're still an asshole abusing people, and you're still a narcissist, so either you don't take therapy serious, or Coho is kind of shitting on therapy.
And plus, if he's a narcissist, he went in and been like, I don't need help.
But obviously, he stuck with it for all those years.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been in therapy since I was 6, and then there's no mention of him being in therapy again after that.
Yeah. Nobody's in therapy in this book.
Everybody needs fucking therapy. Jenny, Lily, Alyssa. Marshall's about the only stable one.
Yeah. Marshall, he's chill. Atlas is pretty stable. Even though he
kind of needs it too, though.
He should be in therapy because, he's been homeless and his mom was an asshole.
Marshall's fucking weird too. Like, not in a, I'm judging him. Like, he seems flat.
Yeah, like there's no personality there.
No, none. I mean,
I just go along with whatever my wife says and does.
Yeah, that's literally it. It's really awkward.
Yeah, other than when they dress in their PJs to go to that game in the beginning.
So, another coincidence. Alyssa's literally crying about not being able to conceive and opens up to Lily about it, and then 3 days later, she can't drink alcohol because she's pregnant.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because even Lily, when she finds out, was like, oh my god, like a week ago you were upset because you couldn't conceive and you were already pregnant, lol.
Yeah. Interesting. I never paid attention to that. Yeah. I really like this book other than, I don't know. I guess I love the Atlas and Lily underlines.
I love this book. DV's just a thing for me. It's a trigger for me, lol.
Yeah. Stop saying lol. It's not lol.
It's a coping mechanism. Humor is a coping mechanism. Thank you.
I know.
DV's a trigger.
Oh my, I'm going to take your picture and post it on social media, but DV's a trigger. Anyway. So anyway, at the very end, she tells that asshole Ryle that she wants a divorce.
And he's like, cool, got it. And then it jumps 11 minutes. 11
minutes later, they were sewing her up.
It jumps 11 fucking months. Okay, the time jumps in this blow my mind because it's like 6 months and then 6 months and then 11 months. Like,
sorry guys, I really wanted to know what happened in those 11 months. So that gets some clarification.
Okay, good, because she like vaguely mentions I moved out. Ryle's getting visitation with Emerson and she's doing good.
Yeah, well, you'll see more of that. I'm still going to read it again.
Also, she tells her mom when she's pregnant, like, mom opens up and is like, I'm seeing someone. He's nice. And so I was like, oh, it jumps 11 months. Do we ever meet him?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to say anything, but so 11 months later, yeah, I was really curious, like, okay, how did they work that out? Like, how are you comfortable leaving your daughter with him?
Well, and this is the thing, right? This is why I'm so, like, confused about the second book, because it like ends on a positive note, like everything seems to be going good, and then I see that one quote where Ryle's being an asshole, so like I know something bad's gotta happen.
I'm just smiling. Yeah, I wanted to know what happened because I was like, 11 months and like up. I know it's mainly like when kids are getting like potty trained and stuff like that. But like that's when they're starting to like test your limits and stuff. And that's when like kids start getting abused.
And maybe that's why it jumped to that point, because Coho's like, we're getting to the rough stage. I don't know. You do. I don't.
I do know. So I was curious like how that played out. Like, how did they do it when she was an infant because of like breastfeeding or, whatever. Bonding time. How did they make all that work? Which you find out, but still, I was really curious when this ended. It ends with us. Yeah.
And then it starts with us.
Yeah. I was really excited when she announced she was making that, because I think I messaged you immediately and was like, holy shit.
So before I'd read the book, when it was talking about it ends with us, I assumed it meant like Lily and Atlas, like the cycle ends with us, like we're not going to DV, but I liked that it meant Emerson and Lily instead.
Yeah.
Because she's breaking that cycle that her and her mom had.
Yep. I love it. She's like, you're enough. You're worth it.
And I'm proud of Ryle. That's the only time I'm proud of him, when he's like, you're right. She deserves better. And just leaves. He doesn't try to fight it anymore at that point.
Yeah.
This book would have been so much different if she hadn't been pregnant. He would have went to Minnesota and that would have been it. Minnesota.
I know. Bye. And she could have just immediately moved on with Atlas.
I didn't even know the Mayo Clinic was in Minnesota. Like,
I didn't either.
You would think it would be in like New York or California or some big fancy state, and it's in Minnesota.
But even then, like, she's still best friends with his sister. I think that's when you just have to be like, I'm going to have to cut ties. Like, you're the sister of my husband who physically abused me. And I don't want him to have any...
I don't want any contact with him.
I don't want any contact.
Also, you kind of, like, condoned his behavior because you saw me the first time, and you saw me the second time, and that's when you're like, oh, but excuse his behavior. Also, it kind of annoys me that they lied to Alyssa and Marshall about what happened the first time, and they were just like... oh, it's fine. They won't know. But then Alyssa's smart enough to pick up that there's something going on between Ryle and Lily when he's in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Which means, and after you find out that everybody knows Raul's actually a abusive D-bag, that means Alyssa probably knew the very first time she saw Lily with a bandage on her face and Raul with a bandage on his hand that...
And he's the one that lies.
Yes. And he makes Lily look like the idiot in the lie.
Yeah, he gaslights her like crazy. Like an abuser does.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, but... So the ending, you know, even if there wouldn't have been another book, I mean, I never thought to think, like, there's going to be a second part. You know, I just felt like it alluded to the fact that they're going to get back together. So I was really excited when there was a second book coming out, because I did want more of Lily and Atlas now versus back then.
Back when she was a minor and he was an adult?
Yes. I know.
You can't even say it's the Romeo and Juliet laws, because he was already 18 when he met her at 15. That's all I'm saying.
Not that I condone being a pedo.
She was mature for her age.
Ew. I love Lily and Atlas, but personally, if it was my daughter, I would murder him.
All I'm going to say is the Atlas and Lily relationship was a little... I don't know, it had some weird aspects to me. Like, they presented it like they fell in love and stuff, but then, like, Lily would say stuff in, like, the diary and things. Like, I knew it wasn't his way of saying he was in love with me. It was his way of saying, like, he loved me and our, like, it was, like, part of the time it was presented as they were best friends, and part of the time it was presented like they had romantic feelings for each other, so...
Yeah, and I also think that was her low self-esteem. Not wanting to accept that...
Well, I mean, he was the same way. He's like, I wasn't good enough for you.
Yeah. And you're like, dude, just fall in love.
I mean, even Lily was like, if you would have came back for me, I wouldn't have been abused.
Well, she even says, like, in the end, she's like, had he not told me he was in a relationship with somebody else, I would have left Ryle for him. Mm-hmm. Even though it never alludes to that. It never says, like, oh, I hope he's not in a relationship.
That's kind of the thing, too. Like, you can tell a little bit that, like, Lily's lying to herself and Ryle, because even after the second incident with the phone number, she's like, I forgot it was back there. And then later was like, oh, I lied to Ryle. I had his number already memorized and I'd already looked at it and stuff. So,
yeah.
Deep down, you already knew.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. She was in love with him and she was just denying it.
Well, she also...
I mean, she was also hurt. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was going to say she also already knew subconsciously that things were not going to improve with Ryle if you're already memorizing Atlas's number. That's all I'm going to say.
In case of emergency. In case you want to confess your feelings is more like it.
I wish that's all it was.
I know. It was a good book, though. I love it. I'm probably going to read it again. It's not going to be like after, where I'm never going to touch that book again.
There's just a lot of jumping with the Ryle and Lily situation that kind of made my head spin.
Yeah.
Because it's like, in one night, it went from, okay, I'm finally going to have my one night stand with him, to, you hurt me because I love you. And he's like, I was hurting too. Okay, there it is. Another big thing for me. His fucking gaslighting. Anytime he's like, no, you don't understand what it did to me. Yeah. What it did to me.
Right.
Like, even before he ever, like, physically abused her and stuff, when she was talking about how he was like, I only want a one-night stand, but you keep, like, pushing things on me in a relationship, and it hurts me because you clearly don't want this, and it makes me feel certain ways. And he's like, no, you don't know how I was hurting.
Yeah.
Bitch, please. You started it.
Right? You're the one that showed up at my door wanting to knock boots and let it go. Because you couldn't stop thinking about me. And he's love bombing her, which is a red flag. Yeah.
Red flag. Wrong, man. Red
Fucking
flag.
Wrong. But anyway, I still loved it. I'll definitely read it again.
I do think, based on the way that Ryle's character was written, he could actually change and get help, though.
But he never did. That's just something I was going to say a little bit ago. Never at any point after the first 2 times was she like, here's the steps we need to take to ensure that you're getting better.
Well, she did, though. She was like, if we have an argument, walk away, I'll walk away, and we're not going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And he still didn't.
Yeah, but he needs to learn how to manage that. It's a lot easier.
No, I'm saying, like, I get it. No, I'm saying she tried. He didn't. But I'm saying moving forward, like, I don't know what to expect in the second book. But Coho wrote his character in a way that he could change.
Yeah. How are you going to be in a relationship? Like, if you did change and you're managing your emotions and your anger, but then you have to go into your second relationship and be like, I beat my first wife, but I'm a changed man. And you're like, I doubt it. You know, just because if you're that girl, are you willing to take that chance? Because he has to be honest. Like, and I feel like Lily as a human being will be like, I'm scared for her.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, Alyssa should have been. Alyssa should have said something.
Alyssa as a human being, not just Ryle's sister, should have been like, I am worried for her because he's violent. He's an angry person.
Well, I mean, she even insinuated early on, before anything ever happened between Lily and Ryle, that Ryle was an asshole.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It just fucking kills me how no one said anything to Lily.
Well, yeah, and Alyssa, like, she's like, oh, you're hanging out with my brother or whatever, and it's, like, sketchy. She's very suspect. Like, oh, you and Ryle are hanging out?
Also, the death of Emerson is a pretty big deal for the whole family, so the fact that not even Alyssa had mentioned something until
I know,
that
right?
far along. Jesus Christ.
Because they're married. The second time it happens. They're freaking married. But I know they got married, like, within, like, 7 months. So.
Well, and forgot what I was going to say. Oh, well, he knows about her abusive dad and stuff. Like, she's opened up with him about stuff. And the fact that he didn't is also a big red fucking flag.
Right. I agree.
And he's like, my career will never be more important than you, Lily. You're always more important to me. And then the literal first time he hurts her is because his hand. His little neurosurgical hand.
I know. Yeah. Oh, man. I just didn't see that coming. I was stunned. I was like, that motherfucker. I was angry.
Honestly, I knew something was going to happen. But I thought what was going to happen, the way I saw it coming differently, is I was going to see, like, things would go wrong at work and then he would take it out on her. Because that conjoined twin surgery was coming up a few days after that. I was like, something's going to go wrong during that surgery and he's going to take it out on her.
Yeah. That would have made sense, too. It was intense. I liked it, though. It was good. I read it in, like, one night. I think I messaged you and was like, holy shit, I read this book in, like, 3 hours. Not 3 hours, but, like, 6 or 7 hours. Like, I couldn't put it down. I read till 3 a.m. That's what it was. Not in 3 hours. I'm a super reader.
Well, 6 hours is still fast.
I know. I was hooked, though. That's how much I was like, how's this book going to end? And then a lot of Coho books make me want more. I think that's the problem I have. The biggest issue I would have with her books is, like, they end on a note where I'm like, but I want more insight into their relationship. So.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I need to know more. I need to see them, like, get to be in love and blah, 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 blah.
Give me answers, Coho.
Give me answers. I'm going to hashtag it.
Hashtag answer.
Well, she did on this one, though.
I know, but now she needs to do it for the rest of them.
I know. Do you have anything else? What would you give it?
4.5.
Same.
I obviously have some discrepancies, but I get it's also supposed to be a light book.
Yeah.
You shove instead of push. That's all I got to say.
I liked it. All right. I guess that's all we got. So we got the month of Coho.
AKA November for you civilians out there.
You non-smuts. So we'll be doing It Ends With Us, which will be out Wednesday, November 2nd. November 9 on November 9. Woot woot.
It Starts With Us on November 16th. Heart Bones. There it is.
Yeah, Heart Bones on November 22nd and 23rd. Sorry.
Yep. 23rd.
Math. I was adding 7.
And then Verity on the final day of November.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Smuts.
Yeah, we didn't get any for a long time because I think even before we hit October, we weren't reading smutty books.
No, because we did a lot of thrillers.
The last one I read was Perfect Strangers, and we did not much care for that one.
I don't even remember what happened in Perfect Strangers.
That was the book inside the book inside the book. And the one that said smack my pussy.
Oh, God, that one. Yeah. Where it turns out she has
ALS, but then she doesn't. And it's like, what?
Yeah, that book was so weird.
Sorry, Thomas. I hit my nose on my mic. So it'll pop. Pussy. All you ladies pop your pussy. No, I don't know about that book. It was weird. Anyway, so the month of Coho, November is Colleen Hoover month here. I guess we should do that every year. That'd be fun.
I mean, November makes sense because she has a book literally titled November, so November has to be Coho.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Down with the sickness?
I feel like I'm down with the sickness. My head's been pounding this whole time. Freaking.
I think December we need to do a different thing each week. Because I know there's a Christmas-themed scary book I mentioned a few weeks ago, and then we can do a Hallmark type book.
Yeah, that sounds good. Nicholas Sparks in the house.
Nicholas Sparks
in his house. His house. All right, guys, that's all I got.
That's all we got. Next week is November 9th, so we will catch you next chapter, Smuts.
Later.